guy is too strong and doesn't know how to respect it.
So going back to the question of who brought out the best of you, opposite side of the same coin, who brought out the worst in Bill White?
Stupidity. If you went in there and you wrestled with me and you looked like a wet noodle, or you looked like you didn't know what you were doing, I would have to be belligerent at executions. I'd have to be deliberate with executions. I would have to be meaningful so that they would get their mind set to where they really are and what they're doing.
Okay. The one thing that we have started doing here on the CIW Report, this was something that was brought on by Ethan Case. Ethan Case did a campaign to bring back the fanny pack for professional wrestlers. So with that, I want you to reach inside your mental fanny pack and pull out some kind of advice or philosophy that you can offer to these younger guys that are coming up.
The only thing I can honestly say that would mean anything to any of them would each and every one of you guys that are listening that can hear my voice. You're trying to become a professional wrestler. If you are, act like a professional wrestler. Dress like a professional wrestler. And know your trade like a professional. Act accordingly, and you'll get a lot further than what you think.
We'll be right back with our featured interview on this week's Carolina Independent Wrestling Report right after this.
This is Bryce Anthony, one half of the Sons of Steel. Make sure you check out Boomer Payne and myself in the Sons of Steel saga every Friday on Spreaker.com.
Hi, this is Tim Dixon.
Hey, everybody, this is the Thoroughbred Kid Holiday.
This is referee Ron Mills, and you're listening to the CIW Report.
Hi, I'm Boomer Esiason, and my son Gunnar has cystic fibrosis, a life-threatening disease affecting the lungs and digestive system. You know, each year, thousands of people participate in Great Strides. That's the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation's national walk to raise vital funds for CF research. And right now, there's no cure for CF. But thanks to the many people who support Great Strides, we're closer than ever before. You know, in Gunnar's lifetime, the median age of survival has increased nearly a decade because of advances in treatment and care. Your participation in Great Strides funds cutting-edge research. And right now, scientists are working on powerful new treatments that target the root cause of the disease, not just the symptoms. And as a father, I want my son and the 10 million Americans affected by cystic fibrosis to have every chance at a long, healthy future. Great Strides walks are happening in every state across the country. Please visit CFF.org and sign up today. And together, we can go the distance and find a cure.
Welcome back to the CIW Report.
If you can look into your crystal ball with me for just a minute, if you have one, where do you see independent wrestling in 5 to 10 years?
Independent wrestling can be revamped. I was sitting down talking to two of the promoters that are wrestling independents today, and I'm going to go talk to a third one. And if I can do that, that means I would have 3 people in 3 different areas to congregate and overpower that area with the wrestling like a territory, pushing the other guys a little bit off base, and it's going to hurt them. Because if you can go back to what territories were, if you can go back and reconstitute the black and white, put more wrestling, give the people what they really want to see in wrestling, because today all they want to do is fly. They don't give the people enough credit for what they see. They go out there and they fly and they do 15 moves in a minute and a half. In 5 different moves, nobody's reacting to it, not themselves and not the audience. A good, for instance, was I took two wrestlers. And I asked them to do something for me, just try something for me. And they said, okay. I taught them how to do a monkey flip in the middle of the ring. The deal was one guy gets the other guy in the armbar. The guy that's in the armbar gives him a monkey flip in the middle of the ring. In all reality, when that guy flips over, the guy that has the armbar is going to get hurt. But it doesn't work always that way. If the guy flips over and the guy holds on to it, the reaction from the people is going to be, my gosh, they're wrestling.
That's some good stuff. I went back and doing some research on you, and I found some of your matches on YouTube. The one match that sticks out in my mind is you versus George the Animal Steel. Now, in that wrestling match, the Grand Wizard was on the outside. You played around with a gimmick for, I know, at least, 6-7 minutes?
You can. Depends on what the people are reacting to.
But in that match, oh man, they were ready to string up the Grand Wizard, and they were really, really pouring it on for you. First off, what was it like to wrestle George the Animal Steel?
It was a pleasure. Knowing his character, knowing what has to be done to generate a good match in this particular instance. I believe that was in the Madison Square Garden, was it?
I believe it was, yes.
The people are reacting to whatever you do. This is what I was talking about psychology before. Psychology has all to do with it. If you make the people believe that you have a cannon and going to beat him to death with that cannon, they're going to believe it. If they say you got a slingshot, you need to hide it from the referee. Because if the referee sees it, he's going to disqualify you. That's why the different things happen, and that's why I use psychology. My thing is the referees have no authority. I bump them a log in the middle of the ring. They're not only there to count 1, 2, 3. They're there to enforce the laws, enforce the rules, enforce what has been set up by the commission. They have no respect from the referees. They have no respect from the wrestlers. They have no respect from anybody, really. And that's another thing that you got to get back to. You got to get back to giving the respect to the referee that's in there. When he starts counting you, break it on 3. Because if he gets to 5, like Vince McMahon or Jim Crockett Sr., do not stop your count. If you're refereeing for me, you do not stop that count. If that man does not move or get out of the way, you count him out. If his shoulders are down and you come down on that 3 and your hand hits that mat, he's out. 1, 2, 3. This is respect for the referee. And if you don't respect the referee, then what do you have in the ring but chaos?
I want to talk to you a little bit about when you won the U.S. title from Ricky Steamboat. Would you consider that to be one of your proudest moments in your career?
Yeah. Anytime that you win a championship with that kind of an accolade, you are a step above everybody else at that particular moment. Now, tomorrow night can change it. Back then, we were wrestling every day of the week. I mean, at that particular time, yes, that was the best. Just being in the ring with Steamboat is an honor anyway. But to be in there and literally take the belt away from him wrestling was another.
Okay, so what was the build-up like for that?
For that particular match?
Yes.
We had wrestled many times in the Carolinas. We had wrestled in Georgia, and we had wrestled in Tampa, Florida on TV. And then we went to Miami, and we wrestled in Miami for that belt. I had beat him twice in 2 different house shows. Then, of course, I hadn't beaten him in Miami at this house show. But we were coming back out of Florida, working our way back up to the Carolinas. I wrestled him in Jacksonville, and we went 45 minutes Broadway. In other words, we went through the time limit. And then we got to Charleston. He beat me in about 9.5 minutes. It changes from one day to the next as to what is going on in the ring. I got cocky. I'll tell you what happened. I got cocky in Charleston. I thought I was destined to keep the belt for at least a month, but it didn't work that way. In 1 week, I lost the belt back to him.
How much did that mess with you? Was that something that you said, oh, well, or was it something that bothered you because you were set to go for a month?
Different things happen. Your mindset, it's like you're all puffed up and somebody sticks a pin into you, and it's not letting it out easy. It's just, you're gone, you know. But Steamboat and I had matches after that, but he lost the belt after that. He lost the belt to Greg Valentine, I think. I've had matches with him since. I even wrestled his son.
How would you compare Ricky Steamboat to his son in the styles of wrestling?
Ricky Jr. is more up to date. He wants to do more of the flying stuff, the moonsaults and stuff like that. Ricky Steamboat was doing the flying stuff like arm drags, head scissors, you know, the older stuff. Ricky also injected a lot more judo and martial arts.
The one thing that I know about Ricky Steamboat more than any other is he does an arm drag like nobody's business.
Yes.
If you could go through the steps on that arm drag, is it over as quick as it starts, or does it seem like it takes forever to get to the mat?
No. No. It's so quick. When you approach him and you lead into him and he hooks your arm and he hooks it so deep that your chest is against his chest and you just go over. And he's halfway down before you realize that you're already in the air and on the mat. It's just a 0.3 of a second.
So it's that quick.
It seems that quick. And then when you hit the mat, and because it's so quick, it knocks the breath out of you.
In the pre-interview that I gave you, you said that you realized pro wrestling was going to change when Vince McMahon started buying up the territories.
Yep.
What is your personal thoughts on Vince McMahon?
Junior or senior?
Junior.
He's out for Junior. Not for any part of his family, not for any part of this business. He is out to make money, and you can't down the man for that. Don't get me wrong. You cannot down the man for wanting to be out to make money. But this is where I draw the line. You don't have to make embarrassing moments for the guys that are in the ring. There's times that I've seen him do very embarrassing things to guys that were totally uncalled for. That's the big reason I wouldn't go to work for him when he bought WCW. Because prior to WCW, I knew of him when he was in military school. And I will not iterate on that part at all.
Carolina Independent Wrestling Report will be right back, right after this.
Hickory, North Carolina. PWX kicks off 2015 at the Hickory National Guard Armory. featuring PWX stars Caleb Con.